Hey, on this video, I'm going to share why you should never judge your Kickstarter launch by its worst day, and you certainly shouldn't let a few bad days on Kickstarter derail your launch. If you're someone who's going to be launching a Kickstarter soon, if you're someone in the middle of a Kickstarter zone, maybe right in the middle of the difficult dead zone, you're definitely going to want to watch this video because it's going to give you some tips and some insight on what it's really like to run a Kickstarter campaign. My name is Tyler James. I share on this channel the mindset, strategies, and tactics for making Kickstarter and crowdfunding work for you so that you can energize and expand your fan base, bring your dream projects to life, and take your creative careers to the next level. And so if you're a writer, if you're an artist, if you're a publisher, and you've got something that you want to launch, you're definitely in the right place. Now, I want to thank you for taking a little time to watch this live stream. And really, if you are someone who is in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign right now, this video is definitely going to be helpful for you. If you're someone that likes looking at cold, hard numbers and the real data behind the data, and you're an analytics junkie, well, I'm going to open up the kimono a little bit and show you the inside of one of my last Kickstarter campaigns. And I'm not going to show you the highlight reel. I'm going to actually show you what our worst day looked like and why it didn't get me off track and didn't derail my campaign, and why it was just dirt off the shoulder. Okay. And so I really hope that by watching this video, it'll help you sort of smooth out the roller coaster ride that is launching comics, graphic novels, and publishing projects, and really whatever it is that you're going to launch on Kickstarter. Now, the important thing that I want to sort of make clear here is that even great Kickstarter campaigns, even awesome Kickstarter campaigns, have bad days. Now, I teach a free workshop called the Comics Launch Workshop. It's available at comicslaunch.com/workshop. And in that free workshop, I basically share what I've determined to be the 7 keys to success for a crowdfunding launch. And if you go to comicslaunch.com/workshop, I'd love to have you attend the next free live training and learn those 7 keys as well. But the reality is, even if you apply all 7 of my keys, even if you do everything right, you're going to have some days on your campaign that aren't great. You're going to have some bad days. You're going to have some days. You might have some days where you make significantly less funding than your average day. You may have some days where you raise no funding at all. You may even have some days where you lose funding on Kickstarter because a backer or two dropped out. All right? It's going to happen. And so what I want to do is I actually want to take you behind the scenes and look at the last Kickstarter campaign that I ran. This was a campaign for Wailing Blade. Wailing Blade's a dark fantasy series that is by Joe Mulvey and Rich Douek. It will actually be out in the direct market on May 29th, so you might be able to find a copy at your local comic shop. But in January of this year, we launched Wailing Blade on Kickstarter, and after 17 days on the Kickstarter platform, we raised $16,257 to bring this new series to life. So, by all accounts, that's a very good Kickstarter campaign. It's a single issue campaign, so that's 3 to 5 times the average project that you'll see for single issue projects on Kickstarter. In 500 plus backers, is a solid Kickstarter campaign by all stretches of the imagination, right? But what I can tell you is that first, funding is not the measure of success that I use. The measure of success that I use is actually funding is great, but once books and your pledge rewards start showing up on the doorstep of your backers, that's when a Kickstarter campaign is truly successful. So don't let anybody tell you that it's all about how much money you raise. It's more about how many fans that you can delight by delivering on your promises. All right. And so it's great to see these things now that we're, I think, 99.9% fulfilled. It's nice to see these showing up in our fans' mailboxes. All right. So that's a true measure of success. But what I want to do is I want to take a look at the cold hard numbers of this launch. And particularly, I want to focus on our worst day. This is some data that kicktrack.com generated these two charts. And you can see, on average, our campaign raised $903 per day. But if you look at our worst day, Wailing Blade's worst day only raised $93 and and it only had 6 backers on our very worst day of the campaign. And so our worst day was about 90% worse than our average, and about, I don't know, like significant, I can't even do the math in my head, significantly worse than our best day. All right. And it's important to know, though, that this $93 and this 6 backers, that's a trailing metric. So I want to look even further under the hood and see what happened in terms of page view of activity on our Kickstarter page. Because the reality is, the only way you're going to get a backer is if somebody actually hits your page. And so a lot of times creators are complaining about nobody backing their projects, but they don't have the information about, well, are enough people getting to your Kickstarter page? Well, here's the deal. Another reason why I can call this a worst day is we didn't have the problem of not getting enough people to our Kickstarter page. In fact, we had 715 new people hit our page for the first time that day, and a total of 811 people hit the page overall. Now, 6 backers out of 811 people hanging out on that Kickstarter page that day, that's a less than 1% conversion rate. That's not great. And knowing that only $93 were in pledges came through that day, that means that for every person that hit our Kickstarter page, they were worth just 11 cents. All right. And again, those numbers might not mean too much to you out of context, because it is all relative, but we're going to look at them in context a little bit. But just put yourself in your shoes for a second. If 715 people came to you at a comic book convention, you pitched them your book, and only 6 of them bought, and 709 people said, no, thanks, not for me. No, thanks, not for me. No, thanks, not for me. Like, you'd probably feel pretty miserable. And that's actually what happened this day. But the thing is, I did not feel miserable at all. All right. Because of what I know about Kickstarter. But I'm going to make it even worse before it gets better for you, because we were actually using some paid traffic for that day. And that day I spent $114.70 to drive 923 clicks at a cost of 12 cents per click from Facebook over to Kickstarter. And so, we made $93. We spent $114 in paid traffic. And so, yeah, technically we lost money that day of the campaign. But here's the thing. I never judge our campaigns based on our worst day. I just don't, because I know that every campaign has a difficult middle stretch. And I know that, all things being equal, it is far harder to get someone to back you in this middle stretch than it is at the beginning, at the front end, or at the end. However, I also know that many of the people that will come home over the final home stretch of your campaign are people that have been to your Kickstarter page before. All right. What I want to do now is look at the worst day. There's our worst day. There's the stats there. But how did that compare to our best day? And this is part of the reason why I don't let the worst day of a Kickstarter campaign get me down, because our best day, we had 204 backers. Out of 1,316 Kickstarter page visitors. That was a 15.5% conversion rate, meaning for every 100 people that hit our page, 16 of them said, yep, we're backing. All right. $6,200.42 were pledged. And that day, every person that hit our page was worth $4.74. Now, remember that it was costing me 12 cents per click to get people over to my Kickstarter page from Facebook ads. That's a nice deal, right? If you can spend 12 cents to get people to go to your Kickstarter page, and on average, every person that hits your Kickstarter page is worth $4.74. that's the great little return on a paid ads promotion. And so that's part of the reason why I use that as one of the strategies that I teach and one of the strategies that I employ when I run my own campaigns. But again, just like not every day is going to be your worst day, not every day is going to be your best day either. But how did things work overall? And how did our worst day compare to overall? Overall, we had 564 backers. We drove a total of 13,300 plus Kickstarter page visitors over the course of the campaign. On average, our page converted at 4.2%. We had $16,257 pledged. And on average, every person that hit our Kickstarter page was worth $1.22. All right. So those are just some hard metrics. And I know a lot of creators don't look at these numbers, aren't super numbers and metrics heavy, and I'm personally not, haven't been that way traditionally either, but these metrics give me more confidence and enable me to, feel like I have more control over my campaign and plan it all the better. And so overall, overall, I was happy with these numbers, right? I was very happy with these numbers. I was very happy with the result of the campaign. But the deal is, if in the middle of my campaign, I looked at these numbers, and if in the middle of this campaign, I let the fact that, my Facebook ads weren't turning into people backing right away, and all the promotion that I was doing, it just wasn't quote unquote working. If I let that then derail me and get my emotions down and get my energy down and get my passion down, and so what would happen? I would stop talking about I would stop talking about my project. I'd probably stop running my ads. I would probably, be complaining to the rest of my team, and then my team would get down about it, and I might, not continue to beat the drum about it, and that would have an impact on the rest of the campaign. And so I want you to take the mindset that when you're launching your Kickstarter campaigns, don't let a few bad days get you down, and never judge the performance of your overall launch based on just your worst day. And know that as long as you keep beating that drum, even if people aren't backing your campaign, if you're beating the drum and if you're doing things to get people to your Kickstarter campaign, that's going to have good effects. Kickstarter's algorithm is going to see that your page has a bunch of traffic on it, so it's going to keep it higher up and more visible than it would if it was a ghost zone. All right, so that's going to make it more likely that down the stretch, other people are going to discover you. All right, that's something. Sometimes it takes people 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 touches, 10 pieces of awareness before they're willing to pull the trigger on your stuff, especially if they're new to you. All right. Now, one of the best things about Kickstarter campaign promotion is you're going to get in front of a lot of people who have never heard of your thing before. But it's presumptuous to think that just seeing one image or one post in one Facebook group or one post on a retweeted tweet, like that's going to be enough. You're going to need repetition. And especially if they're a stranger to you, they might need to hit your Kickstarter page 2, 3, 4 times before they come home to roost in the final days of your campaign. So getting those people to your page in the middle of the campaign, when people are least likely to pull the trigger on it, that still has value to you, because those people probably needed a couple times to be there before they finally make a decision, get off the fence, and coming back to you. We also know that when people on your Kickstarter page, sometimes they're clicking that follow button, which makes sure that they're going to get a reminder when your campaign has 48 hours to go. And that usually kicks off the home stretch to your Kickstarter campaign by just getting that reminder. So, you won't see that in your Facebook ads performance. You won't see that in the social media performance when you're not seeing it as a backer, but people clicking that follow button and getting a reminder, like that also has value. And just the awareness building, the presence, and keeping your own energy up and your own passion up is so key. When you're in the middle of a launch, there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. So it's important that even if the funding looks like a bit of a roller coaster, or You want to be steady. You want to be optimistic. You want to have a smile. You want to be confident, and you want to play the entire thing out. All right. Even the greatest TV shows in the history of TV shows have high moments and they have low moments. All right. The important thing is that we don't let the worst moments of shows that we've loved for years ruin the entire thing for us, because that's just silly. Yes, I'm talking Thrones because everyone else is, and so I've worked in a Thrones reference here. But it's so important that you don't let a few bad days on Kickstarter derail your entire launch, because your passion, your optimism, your enthusiasm is contagious, and it'll either keep people attracted to you or it'll push people away. So never judge your Kickstarter campaigns based on your worst day, and don't let your worst day get you down. Really do hope this, looking at some of the data behind our Kickstarter campaign, looking at just real cold facts, and looking at the worst day of what is an otherwise a very strong Kickstarter campaign, gets you some confidence that this is something that you're going to be able to get through, and gives you the right mindset to attack your next launch. If you are someone that wants to launch a project on Kickstarter, but wants to know, what's the difference between launches that work and launches that don't, I would strongly encourage you to go to comicslaunch.com/workshop and sign up for the free 7 keys training that I have for you. It's 7 keys that I've sort of learned from the 16 successful projects that I've run, from the hundreds plus projects from creators inside my Comics Launch Pro community that I've coached to run their campaigns, and the hundreds, actually no, thousands now, creators that have attended my 7 Keys workshop. I've taught this to them, and as a result, creators have gotten tremendous results with it. I'd love to teach it to you if that's something that you'd like. Just go to comicslaunch.com/workshop to sign up for the next live free training. Thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see what you launch next.